Order, please. Today, we convene to consider Draft Resolution S/2024/123, submitted by Algeria on behalf of the Arab Group. The resolution concerns the admission of the State of Palestine as a full member of the United Nations.
For decades, the Palestinian people have waited. Algeria knows what it means to fight colonial rule. We bled for independence. Today, we carry that spirit into this chamber.
France votes yes. Recognition is not only politics, it is justice. The two-state solution must remain alive.
One by one, members follow. China, yes. Russia, yes. Ecuador, yes. Guyana, Japan, Malta, Mozambique, Sierra Leone, Slovenia, South Korea, all yes. In total, 12 votes in favor. The United Kingdom abstains. Switzerland abstains.
The United States vetoes.
And there it is. By procedure, Palestine remains only an observer. 12 in favor, 2 abstentions, 1 against. The flag of Palestine stays outside the circle of nations.
Gentlemen, you've all read the plan. 21 points. Big, beautiful points. The best points. But let's be honest, it's really 1 point. No chaos. I won't let Israel annex the West Bank. Not while I'm in the room.
You speak of no chaos, but Gaza is rubble. If Hamas is destroyed, who rules? Abbas? Only a handful of countries even recognize him.
Doesn't matter who runs it as long as they're not terrorists. Look here, point 3, ceasefire. Point 4, release the hostages. Point 9, a temporary government in Gaza. And if Hamas wants amnesty, they better play nice. If not, they leave. Simple.
And the aid? You propose massive inflows. Food, medicine, reconstruction. Who controls it? Not Hamas?
Exactly. Point 8, the UN or Red Crescent handles it. No skimming, no tunnels, just aid.
But recognition of a Palestinian state, is this truly in your plan or just a mirage?
Point 18, a pathway to statehood. Pathway, that means conditions. You clean up Gaza, you de-radicalize, you get your narrative right, then maybe you get a flag at the UN but not before.
Messieurs, Europe has already moved. We recognize 2 states. Symbolism matters. If America keeps blocking, the world will fracture. This plan, 21 points or not, must not be theater. It must be real.
21 points, 21 flavors of ice cream. Everyone picks their favorite. But remember this, no annexation, no failed state, no more excuses. Because if this deal dies, it won't just be Gaza that gets buried, it'll be all of you.
Welcome to PastCast, where the past echoes through the present. April 2024. The UN chamber echoed with 12 yeses, 2 abstentions, and 1 very loud American no. The Palestinian flag stayed outside the family of nations. Months later, Trump met Arab leaders behind closed doors. What they said, no one knows. The official record is silence. But leaks spoke of a 21-point plan. Rebuild Gaza, free hostages, maybe even pave a pathway to a Palestinian state. Was it really discussed? No transcript proves it, but the whispers alone keep the world guessing. And between a veto and a plan, one truth remains. Palestine is still in limbo. So why does 1 American no beat 12 yeses? Simple. UN rules. The US, Russia, China, France, and the UK each hold a golden veto card. One swipe, and the whole game ends. That's why Washington decides who gets in, and Palestine stays out. In 1948, America said yes to 2 states. Today, it says no. Why? Because there isn't one Palestine. Abbas claims the West Bank, Hamas runs Gaza, and militias sprout like mushrooms after rain. To Washington, recognizing Palestine now isn't creating a state. It's creating a failed state with rockets. And in Jerusalem? Netanyahu doesn't bother with polite words. Two states? Forget it. To his camp, the West Bank isn't occupied land, it's Judea and Samaria, straight out of the Bible. That's why settlements keep growing like weeds. And Gaza? Every time it explodes, you'd think the pressure might push his government to compromise. Nope. If anything, the bombs just harden his coalition. More right-wing partners, tougher laws, zero concessions. For Netanyahu, Palestine isn't a partner across the table. It's an obstacle in the way, something to weaken, contain, and block from ever becoming a real state. But that hard line is exactly what bothers Trump. Chaos kills deals, and Trump is all about deals. That's why he pushed the Abraham Accords, peace with Arab states, flights to Dubai, oil and business on the table. Behind the smiles was a bigger dream. Stabilize the Middle East, then shift the world's factory from China to India. That dream is wobbling now. India buys Russian oil, Washington fumes, and robots are eating cheap labor jobs anyway. So Trump's motive has shifted. It's less about making India rise and more about keeping America in control. Of oil, of Arab allies, even of Israel. No annexation, no chaos, not on his watch. The Abraham Accords were step one. Palestine might be step two, the deal of all deals. Meanwhile, Europe played its own card. France, Spain, Ireland, suddenly waving the two-state flag. Why now? Because Gaza's destruction was live-streamed to every phone. Protests shook universities. Voters demanded action. Macron read the mood. Back Palestine. Win moral ground, win votes. But let's be clear, this is mostly for show. Macron knows the US will veto full UN membership anyway. That's the safety net. Europe can recognize Palestine, even call their offices in Ramallah embassies. Macron looks principled, Europe gets applause. But Palestine? Still no seat at the UN table. And the Arab capitals? Silence. Riyadh, Cairo, Abu Dhabi watched Israel flatten Gaza, but said little. Why? Because business comes first. Oil sales, US security, fear of Iran. And deep down, many don't trust Hamas either. So they bite their tongues, waiting for Washington or Trump to keep Israel from becoming too strong. 77 years after 1948, the mess hasn't changed. Oslo promised peace. Then Rabin was assassinated, Arafat was poisoned, and trust collapsed. Every handshake ended with another funeral. Today, Palestine is fractured, Israel is stubborn, and the world keeps recycling peace talks like old scripts. Everyone's tired of reruns, which is why Palestinians want to change the channel. And that new channel? UN membership. Recognition from France or Spain is like getting a Facebook like, nice, but your life doesn't change. Recognition by the UN? That's like getting verified on Instagram. Suddenly, you're official. A Palestinian passport comes with diplomatic weight. They can open embassies, and yes, even sue Israel in international courts. For Israel, that's a nightmare. What used to be a shouting match at the podium turns into a 12-round legal boxing match. And lawyers never run out of ammo. And here's the kicker. If Israel still controls the borders, skies, and checkpoints after Palestine becomes a UN member, then it's not disputed territory anymore. It's an occupation of another UN state. Translation: Israel risks becoming Russia versus Ukraine, version 2. That's why Washington keeps hitting veto, and why Israel panics. Because UN membership isn't just a flag in the hall, it's a loaded weapon. But imagine the unthinkable. The US actually recognizing Palestine. Boom. Earthquake. Israel would call it betrayal. Netanyahu's government could collapse, and Washington would be left juggling chaos. The cost? Way too high. A wobbly Israel means a wobbly Middle East, and suddenly, America is stuck babysitting another crisis, while China and Russia are already throwing punches in the main arena. It's geopolitics' worst deal. Lose your closest ally, gain a new headache, and still end up footing the bill. In dollars, soldiers, and sleepless nights at the White House. So where does it all go? Maybe Trump's 21 points become real. Maybe Macron keeps shouting from Paris. Maybe Arab states cut a quiet deal. Or maybe Hamas falls, another group rises, and the cycle begins again. The question isn't, should Palestine exist? That was answered in 1948. The question is, will anyone ever let it? Thank you for watching PastCast, where the past echoes through today. If you enjoyed the satire, scrolls, and scandals, like, subscribe, and ring the bell before the next empire falls.